Time for NBC 10 Coffee Break with Frank and Friends.
For a Friday morning, and our friends today include Zach and Stephen Macek, an attorney and medium.
Yes.
Successful in both areas, and we'll be talking about what he does. And in fact, we'll get a demonstration of what he does in just a few minutes. All right, now, and Zach's going to stick around too because
Sweating a little bit.
Nothing to worry about.
No need to sweat.
Stephen Macek is an attorney at law, and at some point while practicing law, you determined you had skills as a medium. You gave your first reading, I think, 5 years ago. Yes,
It's about that. Yeah, it's about 5 years ago.
How did you determine you had the skill, and when did you determine it, roughly?
It was. I remember the date, Frank. 2010. I went to see a medium in Massachusetts, and the medium was starting this venue. And it was about 100 people, and she came up to me. I was first, and I had lost my dad when I was 8 years old, and I was just really excited. Like, my dad's going to come through and give me messages, and I always believed in spirit. And she came up to me and said, "What is your name?" And I said, "Stephen." And she said, "You're a medium, and you don't know it." Honestly, she turned around, she walked away. I never had a reading, which I was really aggravated because that's what I went there for. And the next day I emailed her and said, why would you say that? And she just told me that she apologized. She wanted to talk to me after the event. But in a nutshell, Frank and Zach, it was like the light switch went on, and spirit knew then that I knew, and everything just started opening up, and I went from just having a normal life as an attorney to doing private events, doing large events. I was in Florida in May. I was in the Ruth Eckerd Hall, and there were over 100 people that I did an event, doing readings. It's been crazy, and it's been great.
All right, so from that moment in 2010 when she told you were a medium and your first reading in 2013, how did you prepare, or did you?
You know, for the first couple of years, it was really difficult because I had a lot of anxiety. And I've always had a lot of anxiety, but this was like, it really was increased, and I didn't know why. And it was almost like if you can picture somebody just touching you all the time, meaning spirit, trying to say, "Hey, we want to talk to you because you can hear us." But I didn't have the skills to be able to understand, so there was a lot of anxiety. And then a couple of years later, I think it was probably in 2012, Elix, my husband, bought me a 16-week to become a certified medium. And I went through it, and then it just kind of jumped from there, and I started getting a little bit better, and it's been such a short period of time, but it's been an express
So you
train.
were able to, from the beginning, say in 2013, where you didn't fully understand or able to decipher what they were saying, to now actually being able to form the full messages.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And every day it's, you know, I learn things, and every day there's things that it's not the easiest because they show me symbols, I hear things, they show me signs, and I have to be able to translate what they want me to the person who I'm reading. It's you know, on my radio show, I always say it's all about love. That's all. There's so much more to this physical world. And when we lose our loved ones, they don't go anywhere. They're right next to us. They're watching us. They're listening. They're guiding us. Hopefully it brings relief to people to understand that.
His radio show's on WARA in Attleboro on Wednesdays, right?
Wednesdays at 5 o'clock.
All right, so let's take a look at how you do this, because you have a regular schedule of clients now.
I do.
He has a rate card and everything.
Yeah.
So let's say Zach Green has come in. He's interested in speaking with you. What happens?
Yeah, I don't know if you volunteered or if this was involuntary, but you're here. And
No,
I also say, as I start this, just like if, say, both of you came in, I'm never sure where I'm starting, but even before coming in here, I knew that there's a father figure that steps forward. Father could be a dad or a grandfather. But he keeps telling me that someone is named after somebody, or somebody named a name after somebody. So middle name, first name, and I don't know who this is. I don't know which one of you. Because I keep hearing the father or the grandfather say, somebody took my name. And there's also a young male that I'll get to, but did anyone connect to the...
I'm named after my grandfather.
Oh, and you too?
I'm named after no one.
Oh, so... Then it's sorry, Zach.
No,
I tried.
you don't have to apologize
to
me.
You know, Frank, I knew it was going to be you. I could feel it was this father figure. So even grandfather. He also. But is your father crossed? Is he in
He has
spirit.
crossed, yes.
So because Dad's stepping forward too, but there's also a younger male that steps forward with now Dad and grandfather. A younger male to me is somebody who left this earth before their time, before we would think. It could be 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s. To me is young, but he makes me feel like it's a brother or a brother-in-law. It makes me feel like it's someone very close. It could even be Frank, like and it also, Zach, listen to this because it also could be they're giving both. He makes me feel like it could be even like a best friend that was like a brother. But there's a young male who's crossed also. It also makes me feel though this could be someone that was young, like really young. And sometimes even miscarriages that someone may have, they come through. But Frank, I'll tell you, your grandfather talks about the watch. I don't know if this is like a pocket watch or a watch. There's a connection to, I don't know if your dad gave you a watch, grandfather passed a watch, but there's a watch that's significant here.
That's me.
Oh, you know, I knew it was going to be both now. See, so
That's odd.
What's the watch thing?
I have both of my grandfather's watches from both sides, my mother and my father's. My grandfather passed away when my mother was 12, so I never met him. So that could be the young. Oh,
so he passed away when he was younger.
Yes.
That's what it is then. So listen, Spirit wants to make sure both of you get in on this. So they're doing both, which is a great thing. I'll tell you, and Frank, I'll be back in a second. Zach, the two grandfathers, I can't tell you how I keep hearing them say how proud they are of you, but they also do this to me, which means that your blueprint is them. Like they gave you their blueprint, like who you are, and because they tell me people have said to you, you're just like your grandfather. They're telling me that and what they want you to know, Zach, is to say that when that conversation happens, whether it's mom, dad, whomever it is, that your grandfathers are standing right next to you and like, yeah, and we're very proud of that because this blueprint is right from Grandpa. So I don't know if anyone they're telling me you've heard that. So
I have heard that.
Perfect. So they're letting me know, and they're letting you know. It's all about letting you to really grasp whether you believe or not. And I don't do this to change anyone's opinion, but it's just a way to say we're with you and we're guiding you. You also were. There was something else in your head about where you were going to study or do something. There was something completely different. I don't know what this is, but there's something before you went into college, or maybe we're back to you, Frank. I don't know who it is, but somebody was going to go down a completely different path, and then it switched. So is that you?
Well, I will say that in high school, I made a considerable amount of money for a teenager, playing in wedding bands and in soul bands, playing the then current music of the 1960s. And
wow.
I was making a good deal of money at it, and at one point realized that I wasn't good enough to make a career out of it, so I tried something else, and I'm still experimenting with this broadcasting thing. But no, this is actually quite fascinating.
But this is your grandfather and your dad doing the same thing, and it's it's a little bit confusing because I have two grandfathers on each side to let to step forward. But Frank, whether you understand this or know this, your dad and grandfather say that you're very connected spirit-wise, meaning that you feel things. Like your father just said that my son can tell whether someone's good or someone's bad energy-wise when he's approached, which is a wonderful skill. But just giving you that and where's Anthony? Where's the AN connected here? Living or crossed? I keep getting. Anthony.
Ooh, I just got the goosebumps there. My sister's name is Alicia Nicole.
Is she crossed?
No, she's here. Huh. A.N.
There it is. So know that it's just Grandpa just giving, and there's just the two of you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because your grandfather just said there's two. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't want to just give a shout out to his grandson. He wants to do his granddaughter too. So that's what this is all about. It's just taking care of everybody.
And this is just an interesting sample of Stephen Macek. I know they can get in touch with you on a website or something like that.
Yep, StephenTheMedium.com. It's that easy.
All right, this has been fascinating.
No, thank you for having me.
And I'm not saying this as kind of a joke, but I'm hearing voices right now, not from there. But
In your ear?
It's the control room saying that we've got to wrap it up. But thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It was so
Thanks.
nice to meet you, Frank. So nice to meet you, Zach. And thanks, Barrett.
And same here. And we'll be back again Monday.